I couldn't be happier that she's with us today. I think you all are going to get a good deal out of Carrie. Carrie is actually the chief administrator over at the Central Ohio Technical College. Am I saying that right, Carrie? I hope I am.
Yes.
Okay, super.
Yeah.
And I wanted to make sure I put Carrie's email on there. Carrie's very responsive in the way of email. So if you all hear her say something today that really piques your interest, be sure to reach out to her via email. I do that quite a lot. Carrie and I are working on another special project through ECMC Foundation, and we're so excited that Carrie's with us today. She serves on our board. My goodness. And you can see there a little bit of her bio. Carrie, talk to us again today.
Yeah.
Well, development.
Well, thanks, Andrea and Mark, for having me. And it was great to see them in person again. I think it's been almost 2 years since I've seen both of you. So it's been great to share some time together. And I'm excited to be able to share some professional development opportunities with all of you. And this is very just based on what I've done and what might be helpful for all of you. And so Andrea and I met actually through ACTE and through the post-secondary leadership success program through ACTE and ECMC. And then I met Mark through Andrea. So that's how it kind of works, right?
Yes.
Kind of build this network from within. So I'm excited to be able to share with all of you. And I know a lot of you on this call. I know Tori and I were just chatting, and Nicole and I were chatting, and I met a couple new folks. So I am excited to share with all of you. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen, hopefully here. And hopefully you can all see this.
That's great.
All right, so we're going to just talk a little bit through some PD opportunities through ACTE, and Andrea already kind of shared a little bit about me, but I've been in my current role for 10 years. Sit on a college campus. We share the campus with Ohio State Newark, which is a branch. And then I also work mainly with our career centers in Ohio. So secondary career centers, but also adult ed programs. Even though I work in the post-secondary realm, I actually work a lot more with secondary programs as well and creating pathways for students. So 17 years working in education. And like she mentioned, I'm on the ACTE board. So as I was kind of putting this, this presentation together today, I just wanted to kind of reflect on some things that I've gotten involved with over the past 10 years, I guess. I can't remember when I actually joined ACTE, but I remember when my boss hired me, he said, part of your job is to make the connections and get involved with people. And I've had people say that sometimes I need to go make deals with people, which, you know, is a sales term, but a lot of times it's not what you know, it's who you know. And so these are some of the ways I've gotten involved with ACTE and some of our Ohio groups over the past few years. And as I was putting the list together, I thought, you know, I'm not putting this list out there to, you know, say, hey, I'm involved with all these things. I just want to show you how you can become involved, because if someone would have told me, you know, 10 years ago that I would be involved with all of these things through career tech ed, I would have said, no way, I don't have time for all that, right? So alongside working a full-time job, doing all these things, just kind of on the side. So that's a little bit about me and some of my programs and roles. This is also something I was reflecting on. I actually added this morning to the PowerPoint, but sometimes others see leadership qualities in us that we don't see in ourselves. And I remember a couple folks with ACTE, I never envision myself running for the board of directors, and I never envisioned myself running for some of my state roles. But people have come to me and they've said, I really would like you to consider this. And I would have never seen myself in that role. And I think sometimes we think, I remember one of the folks with ACTE, we were talking and he said, I really think you should run for this. And I said, I don't think I'm qualified. And I think sometimes we think we're not qualified for certain things, or we don't have enough years in, or we put up our own barriers to getting involved with leadership roles or PD or things like that. So I would say if you even are interested, you should go ahead and try to apply or run or whatever the role is. So ask yourself what's holding yourself back from doing that. So a few lessons I've learned with PD and with working with ACTE is the main lesson I've learned is career tech has different delivery models across the country. We have 3 delivery models in Ohio at the secondary level, and then we have adult ed and community colleges. But in every state, career tech's a little bit different. And getting involved with folks from across the country has opened my mind to it's not the same as it is in Ohio, right? So so best practices from Ohio and across the country, learning from others. I know I was talking to some of you about that earlier, meeting people like Andrea and Mark that I might have never had the chance to network with, leading across states and regions. Like I said, I would have never probably signed up for some of these roles, but people have kind of volunteered me for some of them. Voluntold, right? No, volunteered. Mentoring others. I've had the opportunity to mentor some of the fellows in the leadership programs, and that's been very rewarding, especially during COVID. One thing that sticks out in my mind, which is kind of silly, but one of the guys I mentored was having a hard time during COVID, kind of keeping track of schedules and things. And one of the things we talked about was I use a paper calendar. I'm an old school paper calendar person, but you don't think of stuff like that. I mean, he was like, that was like one of the best things that I learned from you during COVID. So it's little things like that sometimes just having somebody to talk to about things kind of keeps our time management organization going. Providing opportunities for others to lead and grow, and really building the network. So today, as we kind of talk through some of these opportunities, we're going to talk about local, state, regional, division, and national opportunities. So these are kind of my different areas for all those different topics that we're going to discuss. Local professional development opportunities. These are just, and I'm not going to read through every single one, but these are some ways I've gotten involved locally, and I think are great opportunities for all of you to get, and you're probably already involved with a lot of these things on the local level, but so locally, kind of how you get involved. We work a lot with business industry as well to create opportunities for students. So I think those are very important. And another thing on here, local legislative visits. When I started into CTE, I never thought I would be going and talking to legislators. I know Verda, who's on here, we were just talking about when we were in DC for the National Policy Seminar. But a lot of what I've had to do sometimes is going and talking to legislators and helping to, what we would say, lobby for different things in career tech or different dollars. So I think that's very important to have that skill set and to learn in PD. State professional development opportunities. A lot of you may already be involved with your state associations. Ours is Ohio ACTE. It's important, I think, to be a member of your state association and on the national level. Every state's different. Sometimes you pay one membership fee, sometimes you pay two. It depends on if your state is unified. So I would say definitely check into both of those. There's great opportunities at the state level and national level. Being part of a division, I know sometimes that's a little bit confusing, but probably most of you are a member of PACE or maybe a different division within ACTE at the state level. I'm not sure, but everyone, I guess we were just talking about this, I believe it was with Kina, who's still on here. Hopefully I pronounced your name correctly. And,
yes, you did. Thank you.
Okay. And so Keenan and I were talking about how when you're a member of National ACTE, you're also a member of your region and a division. So that's important to remember. And we'll look at some of those if we have time here on the website in a few minutes. Then regional division, professional development opportunities. I marked these all as regional, but some of these are obviously available as part of the division as well. Regional conferences, each region has a conference, awards committees, becoming a fellow. I know our region sponsors I think 2 or 3 fellows a year for the National Leadership Fellowship Program through ACTE. So that's a great program alongside the post-secondary fellows program that we were talking about earlier. So getting involved with those. Also conference planning committee. So I kind of got volunteered to be our Region 1 conference planner, but again, I probably would have never done that. And I've learned a lot of things. And now I actually have to do conference planning for my job. So it was actually very helpful in my career as well. So, and then all of these national professional development opportunities. And it's so important, I think. I know we've gotten a little bit away from face-to-face, but some of the conversations we've even had this week at the Best Practices Conference, those types of conversations have not been happening on webinars, and it's just because of the nature of the webinar, right? So it's going to be a different conversation if I sit down with you for dinner than if I am on a Zoom with you. And so I think that's why these opportunities are so important, is because it's a lot of that informal networking and sharing of best practices that we just don't have time for in a virtual setting a lot of times. So getting involved with all of these. I know the next ACTE event is the Vision Conference in New Orleans, which is hybrid if you can't attend in person. But some great opportunities coming up that I'd really encourage you to check into. I'm going to switch over really quick to the ACT. Well, I need to stop here, I think. Hold on a second. I want to share really quickly. I know most of you have been on the ACTE website, but I just want to share a few things with you. Under professional development is where you're going to see all the events and all the leadership development programs, and a lot of the resources that we've talked about. So I would encourage you to maybe take, a half hour and go through some of these things as your schedule allows, because there are a lot of great free resources on here as well, under publications and things like that. Which I consider professional development, and I've used for a lot of my PD items where I've presented. So that's a little bit about my PD journey, my leadership journey. I think we're getting close to time, and it was great to see all of you and be able to share. And I really want to thank Andrea and Mark for the opportunity.
Yeah, you're amazing, Carrie. We just appreciate you so much. Kudos to you. Thank you for serving. I know what it is to fly around on and be on the national board. It is no small feat in itself. I think, Nicole, haven't you served as well on the national board?
No, I have not. This
Oh
is
my
my
gosh.
first year getting involved. And Andrea, just to kind of piggyback on what Carrie said, if I wouldn't have won this award this year, I wouldn't be involved at the level I am. I did
Wow.
not consider myself a leader or a
Oh.
mentor. And when they asked me to mentor somebody, I told them I wasn't qualified. And they
Wow.
had to talk me into it. And so everything Carrie said, like if I had heard that message last year or the year before, I don't know at what point of my career I transitioned from needing help to being the one to mentor people. But when it happened, I didn't realize it had.
Sure.
And
Sure.
so I agree with Carrie. Like, I think a lot of us just need to look at ourselves differently. And maybe we need to pull more people in, because that's
Yeah.
the only reason why I ended up in.
Well, and please do look at yourself differently. I'm looking at all of you today on this call, on this webinar with us. And I tell you, there's not one of you that couldn't serve on the national board. And I guarantee you, it will give you a different perspective of CTE than you've ever thought of CTE before. And the thing I loved the most about my service, and Nicole, I encourage you, I look at Tori and at Dominic and others who have served with me in ECMC or in PLSP fellowships or whatever we did together in the way of fellowships. And I just ask y'all, please think about that. Think about what you want to do to grow you, because this is the perfect time to be doing it during the pandemic. And this is the perfect time to be getting a plan together and be thinking, Stedman, how can I take these folks that I'm trying to lead to another level? And how can I get more resources myself? Because that's our burden. That's on us, right? We're only as good as what we're willing to put in the way of effort. And so I'm just thankful, Mark. Thank you for having us today on this webinar. And ACTE is a phenomenal organization to be affiliated with. Our PACE division people love you. We want to see you in person at Vision, like Carrie said. And Carrie, just stellar job today, girl. You knocked it out of the park. I had not seen her PowerPoint, but there's so many things on there I want to go back and revisit, even to coach others and help others to know where some professional development opportunities lie. What do you say, Mark?
Well, I think what was said and what Nicole talked about and what Carrie talked about is really, really important. And I don't want you guys to miss that. They didn't even realize that, or they didn't think, we've got that voice that runs on a loop in the back of our heads that says, that's not for you. You're not there yet. And I want everybody that's here today to understand that just by being here today, by making that choice to come here and lean in, you are a leader, because leaders go first. They may eat last, but leaders go first. You model the behavior that you expect of people, right? You have to walk the talk. And by being here today, every single one of you is leaders. So please start viewing yourselves that way. I want you to start leaning in and understanding that you have great things to deliver to the world, and the world needs you. So come
That's
on.
right. That's right. Please come and be with us. So if you can't be there in person in New Orleans, please be there virtually. We'd love to see you even that way. And then we'll be gathering again next month, Mark.
Yep.
On our
Sophia, do we
calendar.
have to do anything else? Are we missing anything?
No, we're good. I will
Sophia,
get this
what's our
posted.
date for next month, honey? Do you know
Uh,
that? Have I
right.
sent you that before?
I
Our
think
date
I
for next month?
have
It'll be in October, everybody, and it'll be at the end of October, very last week, and it's always on Thursday usually. Now, did we move that one because of, I don't think we did move that one, Mark. We kept it at the end.
I think I can tell you what it is if I can
In
navigate there real
October.
quick. I think it's going to be October 28th.
Yes, sir. And what, do you see the topic? that
Yeah,
we're
leading
talking
through
about?
crisis.
Leading through crisis. So be sure to have your staff members on and your friends and bring people. That's how you bring people into the network. So come and be with us.
Andrea, I think that's the advanced CTE fall meeting. I know that ACTE and advanced CTE partner on some of those things. I didn't know, maybe that's why you had doubts about that date, but that's.
I think I was
Okay.
worried about the conflict, but I
Yeah.
tell you, we do this little sucker for an hour. If you all want to jump on and get all you can you say that one again, Mark, the date? Hun, it was
October 28th,
October 28th.
1 p.m. CS Central Standard Time.
Yep. And Sophia will have you from ACT, she'll have you register again and it'll just plop it on your calendar if that's what you want to do. Yeah. Right?
If
Carrie,
that could
you're
be
amazing.
sent out sooner so that we can get it in the calendar through the oh, thank you, Sophia. That's exactly, yeah. And even if you could send them out for the next couple of dates, like we've been doing for the PSAG, and then that way it gets on my calendar and I schedule around it.
Really good, Nicole. Yes, we will. October and November, I know we have those slated. So can't wait to see you all. Tori, I sure miss your face, sis. Good to see you. I'm thankful you were with us today.
Good to
Thanks
see you
for-
guys.
Thanks for making
Thank
it
you,
amazing.
Carrie. We can't thank you enough, Carrie. It was great.
Sophia, thank you so much.
Thanks
No
again.
problem. Nice to see everybody.
Y'all take care.
Yeah.
Stay in touch with us. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.